Hey gang, welcome back to Joe Daddy's Workshop. 2014 Itasca Impulse, basically a Winnebago. I just went through the light sequence, you probably saw it. We had problems with this on a recent trip. We had driven down to Ocala, Florida to work on a Mustang, and I made a video on that on my primary channel, Joe Daddy's Garage. So on this channel I do different things. I work on lawnmowers, weed eaters, anything else that's not car related specifically. However, this would not normally go on my Joe Daddy's channel for the Joe Daddy's Garage. So what I want to do is address these lights. The problem is these lights from 2014 get moisture in them and there's corrosion on the bulbs themselves. So I found that I could wiggle the bulbs and make them work, or I have another plan. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Okay, so these are your standard type of bulbs. And I say standard, back in the day, the bulbs would have had a round base. These are the modern version of that, where it's got a tang that pushes into the socket. So this has 6 screws on the perimeter, but it has 2 screws in the center over the backup light. So if you want to take this apart, you have to take out all of them. These 2 screws hold these 2 panels together, as in the red lens is held to the black base with the clear backup light lens. So these screws that came on this, I believe these are number 8s, and if you'll notice, they're corroded. So a couple things with that. One, that tells you that there's moisture getting in to this area, and I don't like that this has a flange on it, or basically an area that can catch water, and I may do something with that as well. I will say that I have some aluminum foil or metal tape that when it's out here in the weather, because I don't have my carport yet, or RV cover, I'll put that tape here and just let the water deflect off. So it's like high-speed tape that the aircraft industry uses, and so it's just or like for AC work, they have some of that tape too, and it works. It's not the best thing to use, but it does do the job, especially short term. Now I'm going to take this off and show you what's inside. So as I said, these 2 panels, the lens is separate. And what I did is I looked these up. These are from, it says Command, and there's a part number on there. I went on Amazon and I found this product. If you'll notice, I don't know how well you can see this. I might be able to zoom in. Let me see if I can get the camera to zoom some. Okay, if you'll notice, you see all this muck, this ridge? That's water, that's moisture. And if you take out one of these sockets, hopefully you can see that. You see the corrosion on that? Not good. So I am not going to be using these anymore. It's time for an upgrade. So there's wires coming up out of the RV, and there is a black, a white, and a green. Okay. In the center, there is a black and a white, so the blacks are your ground, and then on this side is another green, black, and white. So the grounds are all uniform, and I'm going to cut these off. Behind what they have is these little connectors, so I'm just going to cut off the grounds right now. I'm going to leave that one plugged in because it looks a little different. So I'm just going to highlight these. So ground and ground. I probably, I might consider getting some tape out here and marking these as well, because you don't want to mess this up. Let me do that. I'm going to go get some tape. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have some of my automotive tape here, and I think to make it simple, I would just tape this to the RV and put a B on it, meaning it was black. Probably the easiest way for me to do this. And not that it matters, I'll put an arrow to which side it was on, so just so I know, because these do the same thing. It really doesn't make a difference. So I have those in the center. I think what I'll do with these, I'll do the same thing. This one is a black and a white, but I'm going to cut that off. Black center. And then there's a white center. I'm going to let that one float out in space. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And then I have white inboard and white outboard. I know it's tedious, right? But that's how this stuff works. And then I have the two greens. Now these two, you have to mark them because they're still going to go to the either side, but they just need to be identified as green. It's not that complicated, and I'm trying not to make it overly complicated by any means. So, standard type of sockets we talked about. Now I ordered this kit from Amazon, and this kit is a LED kit, same company, and I'm going to post links to that in the description. These kits, one lens, one setup, is like 35 bucks. And it has the name on it, Command. I guess I don't know if that's a sticker. Not that I would put it anywhere. But I'll post a link down below to these. And basically, these are a fancy upgrade. So, you can see it's got the LED lights on it. It's got this protective covering on it, which that can come off later. And you can see it's got a full gasket on it, on the back. This old one did not have a full gasket. It just had it had to go around the cutouts of the lights. So what I may end up doing is I may clean this surface here and just put a bead of silicone up here. Maybe bring it down the sides, I don't know. I'm not worried about taking this apart ever again, but I don't want to have any moisture. This gasket is just on there. Now this whole thing is solid. There's no openings or gaps. So I may just look at putting some silicone. I don't know. I don't want to overthink it, but I know moisture is a problem, and maybe I'll put some silicone just on top whenever I'm done. Some clear silicone to go around the edge. That might be easier. Okay. On this back, it's got different colors. So it's got white, purple, 2 reds, and 2 blacks. So what does that mean? Well, I'm sure the blacks are probably grounds, and the reds are probably for the brake lights function, and the turn signals. And I'm going to assume the white and purple is for the backup. So I'll have to research this just a little. I'll find some instructions, and I'll get back with you. Okay. Bear with me on this. The markings, or the diagram, isn't a diagram. It's on the back of the lens, right here, on this side. Probably can't read that, but it's behind the gasket. Nothing in the instructions, just so you know. Now what this says is red is the stop. So we've got two, and I put a little connector on there that came in the kit. So red is for the stoplights, purple is the backup, white is the ground for everything. So there's only one ground now. Not black, white. I know, it's more like a house, right? I don't know. White. On a car, ground should be black. And then the red one, or the black ones, are for the turn signals and brake lights, I guess. Okay. Now, I have this handy chart that I just created. You probably can't read it very well. I broke it down. On this side, the black is the marker light, like the brake light and stuff like that. White is the ground, so I put negative for ground. And the green was the turn signal indicator. Okay? Over here I did the same thing, black, white. So black is the positive, white is the negative, red on, well, green on this one becomes red. So essentially, the two green ones that I had now connect to the two red ones. And the black that was in the center becomes purple. That's all well and good. None of these are like that. This is why I marked everything. Now, let me show you this little connector. You know, these had the crimp style connectors on. This has these little, I've never seen these before. It's a little box, has little handles on it. Okay? So you pull up these little handles and they lock open. What that does is it opens a little door inside of there. You push the wire into that hole and then you just snap that back down and now you've got a connection. So I did that on this one. And I did strip some of the wiring off. I took some of the ends. So let's just say if I took this other red one, if I can show you without dropping everything, and make sure you have the stranded wires together, right? And these were already exposed. So if I slip this on, you can almost do this one hand. So if I slip that on there, make sure it's seated, and then I shut that little door, trying to stay in front of the camera. That's now connected. I like it. Pretty simple. So now, as I was saying earlier, the two reds are going to connect to the two greens. So I have to isn't this fun? Oh, and you know what else? Before you do that, make sure you have the gasket on. Because if you don't, you're going to regret it. You'll have to cut your gasket to get it on there. So, there it is. The gasket's in place. I think what I'll end up doing is I may put all of these connectors on first, just so they're ready to go, and then come back and do the rest of it. So I'm just going to open up the little doors, as I showed you, slip these on, drop one here and there. So that's the purple. And the white is the ground. Now, what I'm assuming, we know how that goes, right? What I'm assuming is any one of these that were previously ground should work fine. And I shouldn't have to worry about the rest of them. So let me make sure I have the green ones. As you can tell, I didn't plan any of this, right? I did not sit here and go, oh, I'm gonna do everything and make it look like it's a piece of cake, because it's really not. Okay, so there's the two greens. Now I'm gonna take this tape off. I've already stripped the ends of these. The greens need to be connected to the reds. So we'll just slide that in the right way. Lock the little door. Okay, so that's connected. And then the other one Also goes to the red. Shut the little door. Look at that. Okay. So we know now that, as I mentioned, the whites were all grounds. So I'm going to kind of set these aside. This one is the black outboard, which was the marker light, which should connect to the black on the tail. Yeah. The nice part about it is if I mess this up, these undo. So it shouldn't be that big a deal. Push that one in, lock that down. Black. I gotta strip this one. You know, I will say wiring is not my most favorite thing. And on my primary channel, I'll say that painting is not my favorite thing. I can do both, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. Okay. Purple goes to the backup, so that was black in the center. That was this one. See, BC, black center. That should connect to this one. Now, any one of these three should be available for the ground on the white. I hope. I hope I did that right. White's ground. Make sure I got this right. White's ground. Okay. So I have two of these left over, 2 grounds, and I'm just going to hang this temporarily. I don't want to put it on yet. One thing I'll point out too, the screws, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, the screws that come in this look like they're stainless, but they're also probably a number 6, I think. The ones that were in it, I think, are a number 8. So hopefully I don't have to go look for some more screws. I don't want to put the rusty ones back in. I will if I have to. So this will be fun. I got to tuck these in behind this veneer panel to make room. Okay. So I'm just going to take one of these screws, put it in the center, and just kind of thread it in with my fingers. Yeah, that feels loose. I'm going to have to upgrade that. I don't know if I can get, hopefully I can get a screw that'll fit it. Hopefully it fits in these holes. Okay. That's in place. We're going to do another test. Sorry if I'm dragging this out, but I'm going to make this good for everybody so they can see. Okay, let's see if this works. I'm going to assume they worked. Tell me if they didn't. Okay, not too difficult. Maybe a half-hour job, maybe 45 minutes, depending on your skill set. Really didn't need anything complicated. I used some wire cutters, screwdriver, some tape, make sure you identify your wiring, because if you don't, you might be backtracking and trying to figure stuff out. These things are just big boxes that they put on these chassis, and they have just a spool of wire that they run. They don't care what color it is. It can be white, yellow, green, whatever. As long as it works, they don't care. So keep that in mind when you're doing yours. If you decide to upgrade your lights, you need to address those before you cut everything loose, okay? I did make my handy little chart that I had up here, and you may want to make one of those for yourself as well if you're going to try to do this. But really, this is an easy DIY, and I recommend it because it eliminates those bulbs that can rust, puts these LEDs up there, shouldn't have to worry about them again, hopefully, but I'm very happy with this setup right now. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you would, leave a comment and a thumbs up, and until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.